I know what you guys are thinking. That thumbnail is ridiculous. It's egregious. It's irresponsible. It's reprehensible. But guess what? It did its job. And now you clicked on the video and we're here. So you might as well watch it.
It takes some finesse.
This is going to be another one of those short videos a la the Damian Harris video. And I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. It's a lot easier for me to make these shorter videos, not because I put less effort into them, but just because the whole editing process, I feel like I can actually throw some edits into there. People ask for game clips. I'm pretty sure NFL will find me and throw me in a hole somewhere if I put them in there. But we're going to test them. We're going to see if Roger Goodell comes knocking. So
I am the one who knocks.
So there might be game clips in here. There might be player pictures. What we will see right now, because I'm going to stop rambling, is the intro. So let's hit it. All right, so is Denzel Mims the next Julio Jones? Absolutely not. I just tried the wordplay of Jet Jones, Jets Jones. I thought it would be kind of cool for the thumbnail. I'm sure you guys don't even care about that. What you do care about is why I am making a video centered around Denzel Mims. And it's not because I think he's going to be the best receiver in the NFL in 2 years. I think it's because his value in Dynasty has kind of tanked a little bit. He went from somebody who was viewed as an early second-round pick, then the draft rolls around to a mid to late second-round pick, to now, after a disappointing rookie year, maybe valued as a third-round pick in 2021 draft pick value. And I think that's a price I would be more than willing to pay, or even as a throw into a deal. If you want to trade down at the wide receiver position from Devontae Adams to Michael Thomas, and you get Michael Thomas plus Mims, I'm probably taking that deal every day of the week. And although the numbers aren't necessarily there to back up what Denzel Mims did this season, right? His pace was only 41 catches, 635 yards, and 0 touchdowns. I think it's important to note the context of the situation surrounding him. So I think one of the lesser important points, so I'll hit on it first, is the fact that Rashad Perryman is a free agent this year.
Look at the top of his head.
They kind of play the same role. They're both size speed freaks. Perryman doesn't really have hands, and from his rookie year, I'm not sure you could tell if Denzel Mims did either. But I think opening up 59 targets, which is what Perryman saw this year, if he's gone in the offseason, will help a little bit to give more volume towards Mims. I'm sure they will try to fill out their wide receiver 3 position. It's not just going to be Denzel Mims and Jameson Crowder and Braxton Berrios, especially if they have a new quarterback there. They're going to want to surround him with talent. It's not going to be just those 2 guys, but I think having a guy like Perryman off the team and maybe getting a more unique skill set, making Denzel Mims the de facto X receiver in this offense will definitely help him. Another factor is Adam Gase is gone, and that's always a positive because whenever Adam Gase surrounds himself with somebody, it's no bueno. We saw with Devontae Parker, he broke out. Ryan Tannehill, Kenyon Drake, you name them, they got better without him. So he's gone. They bring in Robert Saleh. They bring in Mike LaFleur as the OC. He has never been an OC before. He's been an offensive assistant and a wide receivers coach and a quarterback coach in Atlanta and San Francisco. I kind of drew the comparison to Julio Jones because he was in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan when Julio Jones had his 1,800-yard season. That's not to say he was any part of the reason why Julio Jones did as well as he did. I think it's because Julio Jones is good at football. So I'm not going to get too much into the coaching change because honestly, I don't know too much about what Mike LaFleur wants to do or if Robert Saleh is going to want to build a strong defense and kind of pound the rock with the running backs that they don't have in the roster currently. So that's kind of up in the air. But what I will talk about is what we saw out of him in his rookie year. Now, it wasn't a good one by any means, especially when you compare it to the other rookies in the class. But I think it's also important to compare his situation to the other rookies in the class. And what I mean by that is looking at the catchable target rate that Denzel Mims saw, right? Only 57.8% of his 44 targets were deemed catchable. You can find this on playerprofiler.com. They have a bunch of cool in-depth stats, meaning only 26 of the 44 targets, I hope the math was right, I didn't check it, were deemed catchable by Denzel Mims. Either way, it wasn't a good number. When you compare that to other rookies, and sure, they play different roles, like CeeDee Lamb is more of a slot receiver, whereas Denzel Mims is on the outsides. I think it's fair to compare it in the sense that, we value these other guys, Justin Jefferson and Lamb and Ayuk and Chase Claypool so high because of the rookie season they had, when in reality, their situation was a lot better than Mims. And Mims' situation stands to improve probably the most of all those guys because of all the changing pieces in that offense. So just looking at the catchable target rate of the other guys, Jefferson was at 80%, Lamb 79.8%, Ayuk 72.2%, and Chase Claypool 70.0%. So nobody within 11.2% of the 57.8% catchable target rate that Denzel Mims was subjected to.
You stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
And the fact that he was playing with Sam Darnold and Joe Flacco, and now it looks like they're either going to have like a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson or maybe even a Deshaun Watson if they want to try and make that trade. It can only go up from here. Or if just like Sam Darnold sticks around, it can't get much worse than 57.8%. And if he does stick around and that catchable target rate still stinks and Sam Darnold still stinks, guess what? The Jets are going to be in contention for a top pick next year. And then he's not going to be the quarterback after that. So it's always the long game with Dynasty. And of course, you don't want to throw away 2021 as well, because then you can acquire Denzel Mims cheaper in 2022. But it's just to say his situation really can't get any worse than it was this year. But despite the tough situation, right, and the fact that he faced really good cornerbacks in Tre'Davious White, Byron Jones, Denzel Ward, Michael Davis, who I'll try to throw up clips. Goodell, come for me. We'll see what happens. He faced Michael Davis against the Chargers, and it wasn't like a crazy performance by Mims, but it was kind of a good insight into what type of player he is. And what he is a true X, a true alpha, because he was mossing the absolute hell out of Michael Davis. He was giving him hell all game. And the type of concentration and the high pointing of the ball and the ball tracking he was showing was a nice glimpse into the future of what Denzel Mims could be. And that gives me a little bit of hope. He also faced the Patriots twice. And I know Stephon Gilmore was out for a big portion of this year, but it's still the Patriots. And I know the Jets beat the Rams, but again, it's no easy feat for a receiver to go up against the Rams. So 7 out of 9 of his games, and I'm counting Michael Davis because he's like decent enough and I'm a Chargers fan, so I can like have that homer bias. 7 of his 9 games were against pretty tough opponents in pretty bad situations. And basically 9 out of 9 were tough situations because of the coaching and quarterback play, but we already talked about that. Basically, it wasn't easy for him in his rookie year, both because of who he was playing with and who he was playing against. And he was kind of used as like a true alpha, right? He ranked 12th in the NFL in terms of average target distance at 14.1 yards. So it shows they want to use him deep down the field, and him running a 4.38, 4.39 at his size is definitely going to help him in the future, in the long run, if he learns how to like stack DBs or be more physical or whatnot. I'm not like a crazy film guy. I'm going to say he's good at this, good at that, bad at this, bad at that.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
But as he develops from playing in the Big 12 to playing in the AFC East, who does boast some pretty good cornerbacks, then I think it's only going to help his case that he's being used as a true X, true alpha wide receiver on the outside. And aside from that, right, beyond being just a deep threat, he was actually pretty good after the catch last year. 3.2 yards after catch per target. That might not sound like a lot, 3.2, but when you compare it to other guys in the NFL, AJ Brown is at 4.0, and as we know, he's one of the better yards after catch wide receivers in the NFL. But other guys, both rookies or other yard after catch monsters like Justin Jefferson was at 3.6, which is only 0.4 more. And then Ayuk, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper all at 3.2. Tyreek Hill was at 3.3. And then CeeDee Lamb and Chris Godwin were at 3.1. He was among the elite class when it comes into yards after catches here per target. So on an efficiency basis, he was pretty good after the catch. So just taking everything into account, right? Aside from him having a down rookie year, you see that he's being used as a true alpha receiver deep down the field. He has shown efficiency after the catch, which is what you like to see in fantasy football. He has an elite college profile, and he had an elite athletic profile coming out of the combine and into the draft, right? He had a breakout age, less than 20 years old. He ran a 4.38. He jumped out of the gym. He just basically checks every box other than blowing up in his rookie year. But when you take it into context, right, his rookie year wasn't the easiest thing to be able to produce in, given he had 2 hamstring strains going into the season, which caused him to miss 6 games. On top of that, the whole COVID offseason, I know it happened for everybody, but making the transition from the Big 12 to the AFC East with pretty decent defenses, it wasn't going to be an easy feat, even if he was healthy entering the season. So although I don't have as much conviction with a guy like Denzel Mims as I did with Damian Harris, I do think that trying to hit on these wide receivers that had down seasons, whether it's like a Deontay Johnson type of guy who had a somewhat down rookie season, but you could look into the numbers and the fact that Juju Smith-Schuster was an upcoming free agent, which he is this offseason, you can buy into him in hopes that he ends up breaking out, or even like a Courtland Sutton, which the efficiency numbers that Denzel Mims posted are very similar to a Courtland Sutton rookie season. Both guys were a little bit older rookies, didn't really do all too well, but you look at the situations that both of them faced, having pretty stiff target competition in terms of like one had Emmanuel Sanders, the other had Jamison Crowder. Obviously, Jamison Crowder isn't Emmanuel Sanders, but in terms of like the role that Sanders and Crowder played in their respective offenses, being target hogs wasn't going to be easy. And Sutton and Denzel Mims being used deep down the field and not having the most accurate quarterbacks definitely didn't help. I think Mims is in a very similar situation as Courtland Sutton was in his rookie year. Going into his second year, not many people were too high on him because DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley were so much better. As with this rookie class, so many other guys were better than Denzel Mims. But I think when it's all said and done, we look back next year, there's no chance Denzel Mims is being ranked as low or valued as lowly as he is right now. So if you want to go and throw a 3rd round pick for him, I would 100% do that. If you want to trade down at the wide receiver position and make a package deal to go acquire him, maybe trade down, said before, like a Devontae Adams for Michael Thomas plus Denzel Mims, or it doesn't even have to be that lofty. Maybe just trade down like a DJ Moore to a Tyler Boyd plus Denzel Mims, or like an Amari Cooper for an Allen Robinson plus a Denzel Mims, something like that, where you're not losing too much in terms of the top asset in the deal, but the disparity that you're missing out on, whether it's like Devontae Adams to Michael Thomas or whatever, the drop off could be more than made up for by Denzel Mims breaking out. So again, not nearly the level of conviction I had with Damian Harris, but I feel like I don't need to have too much conviction to be able to convince you guys to buy him at the price that he's going for right now, which is probably like a 3rd round pick. And I'm sure as the draft rolls around and people want to say like these 3rd round picks hold even more value than they probably do, you can probably trade like the 3-2 for him while you're on the clock, because at the 3-2, maybe a guy like Elijah Moore is there, and some guys like an Ole Miss fan for whatever reason, or they really like his game and his analytical profile, while Denzel Mims probably has a better analytical profile than most of these guys in this class. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down if you didn't, subscribe if you're new, and until next week, or until tomorrow, I guess, because that's when Bunkbed Breakdowns comes out. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
10 old Chatham's on. Foolies glad I'm home. Even my haters kinda glad I'm on. Rest in peace to my vagabond. Rapper, song, singer, suspended, subpoena from misdemeanors. Dreamer, held back asses, Loki still a there. And I still shake a boat squat. Ran for my broke. Got city on the come.